everyone? How is everyone today? Good? Good? Woo! It's, what, Tuesday? It's Tuesday! Yay! I travel a lot, as you're about to discover. Now, I was here about a year ago, and I was talking IoT, I believe, since I last came back. And I was passing back through Sydney, I was coming back for a similar event, so I thought I'd love to come back and see you all again, because it's been a year. So I've been doing this now for about 40 months. Let me step back. Hello, I am Stephen Cooper, also known as Developer Steve, on all the social media networks. Happy to follow along. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Chinese Facebook, which is Weibo, for those that don't know. I can't speak Chinese, just saying. I am from PayPal and Braintree, but I'll get to that shortly. So, I'm going to talk tonight about something really, really cool that we've released recently, and I've actually built a Joomla module for Joomla Commerce. Joomla, what was it? Virtual, that's it. Yeah, which was... we won't go into that. But yeah, this sort of takes the Braintree integration to a whole new step, and we're going to look at how that actually works, and it's going to be fun, and it's using actors. We will get to that. Yes, actors. Anyway, some wizardry first. What do I do? So for those that don't know, that weren't here a year ago when I first set out on the long road that I have been on, I'm an evangelist, also known as an advocate. So I basically go out for PayPal, for Braintree, and get to geek out, as I call it, in front of awesome developers like you. Essentially it looks like this. I spend a lot of time on airplanes. The next slide will tell you how long. I get to go to some really, really cool events. So that was taken at the BattleHack World Finals. BattleHack's a hackathon we run all over the world. Developers basically get 24 hours to build something that solves a local or a global problem using PayPal, using Braintree. The winning teams for each city, 14 cities all over the world, we fly into San Jose in November for the World Finals. They get to hang out with the likes of, that's John Donohue, the head of eBay, the current president, who as of Monday is no longer the president. Interesting. And yeah, it looks a lot like this. This is a bag selfie. That's a thing now. We're doing bag selfies. That is 30 kilos of luggage. I generally travel around with quite a bit of luggage because I'm generally gone for many, many weeks. And presentations, and of course the community. The community is what I love being part of, coming out and sort of hanging out with, geeking out on stage. How far have I travelled? 271,000 kilometres, and I've got a whole bunch of more trips to go, which in about a month I'll be about at 285. 70% of the way to the moon. One way to the next planet. And that's been in 12 months. So I've done 9 countries now, events all over the world, about 90 odd different events, from meetups to conferences to South by Southwest. I've spoken all over the world just about ways to use code, to just things that I've come up with, and geeking out on stage. So I'm from PayPal, may have heard of it. We do this much payment volume per minute. So it's about $6,000 a second. Think about that. That is massive. I don't do sales, I don't do marketing. I saw this slide in one of the sales decks recently and I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We do a lot of volume. A company you may not be too familiar with, Braintree. So Braintree is basically built by devs for devs. Essentially, it's 12 lines of code. I'm going to go through it. I've actually got 2 demos that I'm going to show you too. That'll be funny. It's alright. So yeah, Braintree is built by devs for devs. 12 lines of code. You can take PayPal, credit card, Apple Pay, Android Pay, and Bitcoin all in one little integration. Anytime we add a new wallet onto that, another digital wallet on, it just becomes available in the one integration. It's really cool. Like the first time I played with it, I was like, yeah, I can see why PayPal bought this. So PayPal bought Braintree about 2.5 years ago, and it was literally that, it was partly because of that, Braintree was doing cool stuff and integrating things in whole new ways. Like it's really, really cool. But I'm going to show you that. So, onto the wizardry. Now, I did say I was going to use actors, and originally this was scripted to use actual live actors, because I thought, hey, that'd be cool, and I don't think anyone's actually done it before. And then I kind of looked at it and thought, now I have to write a script, so I'm going to use digital actors instead. So these are my characters. You may or may not be able to tell that I actually drew these myself. They're quite high grade. They are 8-bit. They are 8-bit, but they're worth $1 million to me. Ha ha. There's lots more puns coming, don't you worry. So these are our actors. So essentially the story starts with a developer, and we all know those because, well, we are those. And the developer has a client, so we all know about the wonderful world of clients, no doubt. They're interesting folk. So client comes along and has a need for integrating, basically integrate payments into their website. And of course, clients being clients, they tend to be a little bit troublesome when they know what they want, but along the way they kind of get a little bit confuddled and sort of branch out into do different things. But at the end of the day, they also are going to need security. So when you're talking payments, of course, security is the biggest topic. And you've got to watch out for these PCI demons because they will sneak up on you, especially in open source platforms. There's always new things that you need to patch and be able to make sure you're super, super secure. There's lots more coming. So it's going to have a look at the first integration. This is basically how, this will walk through how Braintree works. It's really, really simple, and it's going to have a lot of fun animations in it, and I've got a whole bunch of other characters, but we'll get to that. So we've got our developer who's going to go to the Sandbox website, sandbox.braintree.com, set up an account or log into an existing account and get some merchant credentials. Yeah, like so. Next, call in PHP SDK because we're using PHP platform. So call in the PHP SDK, drop in the merchant credentials, and we're going to generate what's known as a client token. So this is used in conjunction with some JavaScript, which looks like that, and keeps everything nice and encrypted. The client token basically gets generated with your merchant key so that we know you're you, we know your server, we know the client instance. Basically we can authenticate that that session is legitimate and we can track a whole bunch of stuff and keep everything secure. Keep the PCI demons away. Once you get that, user loads the page, you get a wonderful little drop-in box that looks something like that. So you have the PayPal button at the top, you can put in credit card information, either one's fine, both will work exactly the same. When the user fills in their financial information, hit submit, that sends off to Braintree, and a payment method nonce, just like a really long string, gets attached in a hidden field onto the payment form, and that sends over via post, which you use to create the transaction. That's it. And everyone wins. So that basically, that method is used in things like Uber, Airbnb, GitHub, just a name drop. They all use basically a very similar method to that. Oops, I've skipped slides now, haven't I? So of course now we have to take that back to the client. And that little box that we generate, like that whole box basically generates from, that whole payment box generates from JavaScript that we just drop a client token into. We don't have to do anything else, which is really, really cool. And of course the client is going to absolutely love it, right? Yeah, and they're going to think it looks absolutely awesome. However, once they actually get to have a look at it, they always want to make changes. So, and this is the only problem with that amazing little box, is you can't style anything inside it. So it's fully responsive, it's fully PCI, it's PCI to load inside the website, but you can't style it, you can't sort of blend it into the experience, you can't tie it back to the user experience. And of course clients being clients are going to want to change all the things in it. We can turn them into frogs, so that's fine. No. Yay, they just want to change the inputs, that's fine. So, what we released recently is a thing called hosted fields. So this takes things to a whole other level, pun intended. This takes it to a whole other level so that we can actually style all the input boxes, we can do all these amazing things. It basically works exactly the same way. We call it in JavaScript library, we drop in a client token, that's actually in Ruby, but that's fine. What's different here is we actually specify the div IDs for where we want the inputs to appear. So previously we would just attach a div where we want the drop-in UI to appear, or that little box to appear. With this one, what we do is we actually specify the div input names where we want an input field to load into. We can actually style the styles. We can actually control the styles of how they actually behave and how they look. what it does, when the JavaScript loads in and we specify the div inputs for the input fields to load into for credit card and expiry date and the CCV, you can actually style the outer edges of those boxes. What this lets you do then is also style the inner inputs of those boxes. So these input boxes load into iframes, which, as you know, you can't, it's very tricky to style iframes. This lets you do it. See? Magic. Hence the wizardry. And so you can do all these wonderful things with CSS. You can have all these wonderful inner properties load in and style every little every little input of the boxes. Even the stuff that's no longer supported with some browsers, we still support it. Can do custom classes as well, so if you've got something really super particular that you need to load in, you can support that as well. And of course, we support paparazzi. No, we support media queries as well. So you can do all these wonderful little media queries, again responsive, because you definitely need responsive websites in today's world, particularly with Google starting to blacklist those that aren't. So if you're not responsive, you need to be responsive. And more importantly, and this is the one I love this, the JavaScript callbacks. So you can actually, and I'm going to demo this at the end, but you can actually style how the JavaScript handles validation, so you'll know whether the user's typing in a particular credit card, whether the credit card's valid, whether the expiry date's valid. You get all sorts of different callbacks to know how the user is interacting with these fields. But wait, there's more. Yes, you want more? Yes, you want more. Users being users, of course, they want that little bit extra. So recently, the last version of hosted fields that we released also supports PayPal buttons. So in the drop-in UI, basically the PayPal button renders just where it needs to render. You can't control where it sits. Hosted fields allows you to control where that actually appears in the form. And it's as simple as just basically plugging in a div where you want it to appear, and Shazam, magic. Isn't that the most amazing graphics you've ever seen? Like Spielberg's like completely bringing me right now. Alright, so what that actually looks like, and it's not in that slide, it looks like that. Wasn't that magic? And I may have missed it in that last one, but yeah, you can basically control where you want the PayPal button to appear. So the last thing we've got to take care of course, is that nasty little PCI daemon, which will go through casting security. So PCI DSS, a wonderfully long, super huge read. I started reading it in February and kind of it's a long read. Has anyone looked at the PCI DSS specifications? Yeah. It's a riveting read of many, many pages, but essentially it's here to protect consumers, it's here to protect everyone on the internet to make sure that any sort of financial information, any sort of personal sensitive information is stored correctly if it needs to be stored, and you never, ever store credit card or any financial information on an unsecured website, ever. And what we do at Braintree and PayPal, of course, we work with the PCI standards people to make sure that any time that we store the stuff, of course, we're A++ certified for all our servers. But also we work with you to help you become PCI certified as well, where you need to. So with hosted fields, the option with drop-in UI, there's an option to customize that to a level. However, you will need to fill out a 144-page questionnaire, 144 questions to be able to become PCI standard before we can allow you to go into production. Hosted fields, there's 7 questions. So you can still style all the fields as you need to, but you can't, you don't have to go through all the questions. Basically, we help you become PCI certified. Of course, what that stands for, well, I actually skipped a bit there. PCI Card Industry Digital Security Standard is what that stands for. And yeah, again, very riveting read. Many, many fun hours reading it, but it's there for a reason. It's there to protect us all. And that's their wonderful website, which is kind of responsive. Yeah, it's a bit weird. You think that would, anyway, it's very secure. What that does to the daemons, of course, that makes them all go away. And they're owned. So in the case of our client now, of course, they're completely happy, they're all secure, they've got their wonderful PayPal button in there, and they've got all the wonderful inputs and everything. And now it's demo time. So I thought I'd do a quick demo. There's more to come. Did you want to take a photo? This is what you do on 14-hour flights.
Sleep and watch movies.
Drink scotch and build, yeah.
Or you see all the movies through class.
Yeah, you tend to see the movies quite a lot. Now, I'm going to be a little bit different and use Ruby, because, I don't know, has anyone using Ruby yet? I'm going to do a demo in Ruby, because I thought, PHP, meetup, I'm going to do Ruby. Just for the record, I'm a big PHP lover. I've spoken at many of the PHP things, but I thought I'd do Ruby just to show you all Ruby. It's really easy. Anyway, so unlike PHP, basically when you load a PHP, when you do a PHP call, when you use PHP on a server, it loads about 5,000 odd functions. Ruby doesn't do that. Ruby loads only what it needs, so it uses less memory, it kind of runs a little bit efficient. It's a little bit different to PHP, there's some little things you do, yeah, Jack's nodding. Yeah, it's a lot okay, it's a lot different. It's a thing, it's fine, you'll see it. Now essentially this file here determines what functions load. So I'm loading in Sinatra, which is like my web server, comes with its own web server. I'm loading in Braintree, because that's what the demo is. And also print, which just dumps out a whole bunch of it. It's essentially the print R of the Ruby world. Inside my file here, I'm pulling those in again, just to, it's like a PHP include. I've got all my merchant creds in here. And inside the index, I'm generating a client token. Inside the index, so this is what the HTML, like the HTML template file. I'm calling in Braintree, and just some basic JavaScript. I'm just dropping in client token, and I've attached the container that's going to load to a container called checkout. Once I fill out the form, hit submit, I'm expecting two values, the payment method nonce, and an amount from an input box. So, just show you what that looks like. Yes, I'm in the right spot. This is the part where the server doesn't start. Huzzah! Oh, it's done this before. Wow. So, funny story. I was in BattleHack Tokyo, and part of the BattleHack series, we do like a demo on stage to show how easy it is to integrate. And we had Matt, the creator of Ruby, keynote at BattleHack, which is, he's the creator of a language. And he was, oh yeah, now it started. Ooh, my tactic worked. And he was sitting in the audience, so I had to demo. I thought, I've got to use Ruby because he's sitting in the audience. So I had the creator of Ruby sitting there while I was going to do a demo of PayPal, and my Sinatra wouldn't start like it wouldn't just then, while just 3 minutes before I was about to walk on stage, and I'm like, oh shit. Thankfully, I was able to get it working just as I walked on, and yeah, everything was fine. Nothing failed. And this one's now worked too, so woo. So now that that's running, I can do we got connection.
Yeah, you cut out. The Wi-Fi's off.
Oh, it's because I've got like 5 of you using my internet. I do? Yeah, I might need to because everyone's leeching my Wi-Fi.
Steve, use Wi-Fi.
No, the Wi-Fi's. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yay! Huzzah. Thank you. So yeah, you can see that box just loaded just then. That's the V0 drop-in. That's basically that fun little JavaScript with the client token dropped in, and so with that, I can choose PayPal. Now, this doesn't do the PayPal redirection you're probably used to, where you click the button and you can take it away, and there's the login screen and everything else. This, as you see, does the inline login. So you click the button and a pop-up comes in. User doesn't leave the website, which is really cool. I am going to use credit card for this, though.
How does it work with SMS verification?
Two-factor. So PayPal has two-factor. This one, so using credit card won't, because you're typing it directly into the website unless you build it in as part of the flow. So the difference between PayPal and Braintree, PayPal is a digital wallet, Braintree is like a back-end payment processor, essentially. So I'm doing a transaction for, I've got an amount, 123.45, and I've typed in credit card number. I want to write down that number because it's got unlimited credit. So submit pay, fingers crossed the internet's still happy, looks like it. And that's it, payment done. Easy. And if you think the Uber experience where you basically, everyone uses Uber? Everyone know of Uber? Yeah. You set up an account, you attach a payment method, that stores inside the Braintree vault. You get back like this little tiny token that you then use, you store against your user profile and then just transact against to as you need to. So think of the Uber experience, you book the car, you get in, you get out, payment happens, like you don't have to do anything. It's really easy. I'll show you the hosted fields demo, which I'm going to switch languages now and go Python, just to really mix things up. So this is Python using Flask. Essentially same thing, I'm just generating a client token. I'm using hosted fields for this one, so I can show you some of the JavaScript interactions that are going to happen. And essentially, yeah, so before where I've actually attached the container, the payment box to one container, here I'm actually specifying all the input fields. I've got a container for the PayPal button, I've got the input field for number, for CVV, for expiry date, and then I've got all that wonderful style in there. And then I'm also doing some funky JavaScript stuff too that I'll show you. So, fire up the server. So these look a little bit different because I've actually styled the input boxes. So once I start typing, you see I've got a blue color in there when it's success. If it starts to fail, no, it's not going to do it yet. When it fails, it'll change color to red. Like you can control how the input CSS looks while the user's interacting with the field, basically, or while the user's interacting with the field. So see now it's gone green, and I'm using JavaScript. I'll be able to change the message on the left-hand side to say, yep, paying things are all. I can control error messages. You can see it just went red. User tabs off. Credit card says no. Oops. So I can type in expiry date as well, and again, you're going to get the same type of feedback for each of the fields as the user types through, which is really cool because you get that. You're able to control that interaction then with hosted fields. And it works basically exactly the same way, just a payment method nods comes back from Braintree, attaches in a hidden field, and you use that to do the transaction. See? Oops. There's my account. And then of course they all live happily ever after. If you want to find out more about hosted fields, I'll be around. You can also visit braintreepayments.com/hosted fields, or you can just Google Braintree hosted fields, or I'll put a link up if everyone wants to, but I'll be around to chat more about it. Of course, integrating with Joomla, relatively easy. This stuff integrates with just about anything, so yeah, really easy to integrate. Yeah, and also, if you want some extra fun, if you check the source code, there's all these hidden games in there. It's really cool. Just saying. So yeah, thank you for being amazing. My epic actors would like to thank you as well. There's some characters in there you didn't see, but you know, I'll be back, maybe do some more talks. Hopefully I'll come back before a year, I promise. And we also have an Australian developer Slack chat. If anyone's using Slack, if anyone wants to join Slack, please come see me. We can send you an invite. There's developers in there from all over the We'll invite you. But yeah, there's a Slack chat. There's developers there from all over Australia, like even from Perth. Perth's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Actually, Perth was interesting. I did a talk in Perth 2 weeks ago, and my opening line was, it's wonderful to be here. Perth is the only only place I can go in Australia without it, and not need a passport, but still get jet lag. It's still the best joke I've done recently. Thank you very much. Questions?
Steve?
Yep.
What's the content
Sorry,
What is the purpose of using Python driving?
that was just a demo. We can, basically Braintree, there's a number of different languages you can use. PHP, Python, like Ruby. We support a number of different languages. I got demos in all the languages.
So it's one that...
It's just one of the demos. I've got all the demos that I've done tonight and a whole lot more. A whole lot of really fun, even more funner ones. Funner, that's a word now. Available at github.com/developersteve. So they're all available. They're all available to go and grab. There are instructions on how to run them. Yeah, Python's on there. Ruby, PHP. Even has some IoT stuff on it. So,
I have a question. With Braintree,
yep.
if a user wants to sign up, what's the process that they go through? Is it as painful as going through whether you use PayPal?
What do you mean? That's an awesome process. No. It's a thorough process.
Wonderful. But once you go to the next level,
So, yes. The Braintree process basically it's an underwritten insured product. So it's slightly different. You actually talk to people. So there's an initial online form, or you can come see me and I'll introduce you to one of the amazing Braintree team. But yeah, then you go through an onboarding process. There's questions I'll ask depending on how you integrate. They'll want to know if you can use drop in and do your own sort of funky input fields. In that case, you'll end up filling out 144 questions. You can use hosted fields, which is amazing. Yeah,
as simple as possible for processing credit cards and so on.
Okay, V0.
U0.
V0 or the drop-in UI, just
Sorry?
the drop-in UI, the one that you can't style.
Okay.
That
That gives me a random PayPal that one that I can't do.
you can switch when you go into production. You can switch off the PayPal button. Yeah, but yeah. Then fee-wise, so cost-wise, out of the box, Braintree is 1.75% plus 30 cents. PayPal's 2.4 plus 30. So Braintree is cheaper than PayPal. There you go. Only country in the world. So I was like, wow, how did that happen? But yeah, that's Braintree. And more importantly, cats with lasers. Yeah, that's me. I'll be around. Happy to. Oh, the question. Right.
Apart from the ones from this payment process,
Yeah.
if I do a job as well, I'm also setting up a PayPal payment.
Yeah.
I've been asked to use payment for the Payflow system.
Payflow Pro.
Sorry?
PayPal Payflow Pro.
Yes, that's right.
I would use Braintree.
And what is the advantage of me using Braintree as opposed to using that to simple transactions without
Lots and lots, a lot easier, and you get PayPal, you get credit card, you can get any other digital wallet that we attach.
The only difference is we've been processing with PayPal using a very antiquated system for a long time.
Okay, it may still work, like it may fit the system you're doing.